Are you a working mom? Are you struggling with work-life balance? Could you use some working mom tips? Well, if so, then stick around because that is exactly what we are going to continue diving into today. This is the final part of my latest series here, Work-Life Balance for Moms, where we are talking about my recommended tools and strategies to help us not just survive working motherhood, but really be able to thrive in working motherhood. I have had 8 tools and strategies for you all in this 4-part series, and today we will cover the final 2 strategies. So let's get to it. So hey there and welcome back. I'm Alicia from Alicia Cohen Designs, where I teach you intentional planning and productivity. If you're new around here, would you please do me a big favor and hit that subscribe button? It means a lot to me, helps support my channel, and it's just really nice to know that I have supporters out there. So please give that subscribe button a tap. And now let's get to our topic. Here we are, part 4. Woo! Here's the plan for today's video. We will quickly start off covering some brief points just to make sure we're all on the same page for this video. And then we will cover my final 2 tips, strategies that I have for you all today. In case you haven't heard yet, I want to give you a heads up about a freebie that I have for you all. I made something for you guys. It's a set of pretty downloadable printables with encouraging working mom quotes on them. I really like them and I hope you will too. So stick around to the end of this video because I'll show you what the printables look like and tell you the quotes. But if you just can't wait, the link to download the printables is in the description below. All right, now let's get on to that first section of today's video. So in case you're new to my series here, I want to get us all on the same page real quick about what we're going for. We are continuing to take a look at some effective strategies and mindset shifts to use in our journeys as working moms so we can feel like we are able to create the lives that we want, where we are doing the mom thing, and doing the work thing and feeling good about it, feeling like we were able to be productive, put our time and attention where we want it to be, and just generally feel sane and well and like we are living the lives that we want to be living, where we are thriving, not just surviving. So we've already covered 6 other strategies in this series so far. If you haven't checked out parts 1, 2, and 3, I will link them over in the cards now so that you can go check them out. My goal for you with the strategies that I share and I've been sharing in this series is to help you increase your working mom effectiveness. As I've said before, it's important to note here that being effective is not synonymous with doing it all. That is literally impossible. If you didn't catch the video yet, again, over in the cards now, where I talked about what it really means to do it all, then go take a listen to that too. And also, if you are new to my Working Mom series that I have been doing here and you haven't heard me talk about my definition of a working mom yet, it's just someone who's a mom who's also doing some sort of work thing. Could be full-time, part-time, could be in the home, out of the home, whatever. But if you are a mom and you are doing something above and beyond your usual mom duties that is some sort of work thing, then you, my sweet sister, are a working mom in my book. All right, now for our first strategy for today. The first strategy that I have for us is to be aware of time suckers. So what does this mean and how do we do this? Well, first, let's talk about what are some common time suckers, or in other words, what are ways that we waste our time. Because when we are wanting to be effective, be productive, be confident in how we are spending our time, and be able to focus on what matters most to us, time suckers are not an especially great companion to have along for the ride because they really thwart what we are trying to go after. Now, before I get into the time suckers, I want to be clear. Time suckers are not bad. They are not forbidden. Okay, got it? However, it is important to be aware of them, and it is important to be intentional with them. If you want to spend your time on a time sucker, do it. And then, at the same time though, don't later wonder why you didn't get XYZ done or you didn't spend time with your kids or whatever. Just be cognizant of and real with yourself about what you're actually doing. If you're spending your time on what matters most, you're spending your time on what matters most. And if you're spending your time or some of your time on time suckers, then you're spending your time or some of your time on time suckers. No judgment. It's not good or bad. It's just what it is. And what is that if you're spending your time on what matters most, you likely are not spending your time or not very much time on time suckers. And if you're not getting you're not getting to the things that matter most, or that you say matter most, then you could be falling into the trap of time suckers. So let's take a look at some time suckers. Time suckers includes things like scrolling, social media, whatever it is, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest. Again, these things are not bad. I am not going to say don't be on social media. That's your own personal choice. But are you aware of how much you're on social media, especially if you currently are having trouble with how your time is getting spent and feeling like you're not able to strike that balance in your life that you would like to have where you're focusing on what matters most? Next time sucker, watching things. I know I already said TikTok, but TikTok, YouTube, Netflix, Disney Plus, whatever your particular video watching method of choice is, how much time are you spending on that? Because it is so easy to get sucked into binging on Netflix or YouTube or any of them. And they're designed to keep you in them. They want you to keep drinking the video watching Kool-Aid because they're a business. They're out to make money. They're not out to help you with your time management. So on some level, I'm sure you're probably already aware of this, but still keeping in mind all of these things. Social media, video watching, they are designed to keep you sucked in, keep you watching, keep you scrolling. They are a business, and their business is not in the area of your well-being or your productivity. Another time sucker, and again, just like social media and watching videos, it's not good or bad, it just is, but games, video games, app games, how much of your time is being spent on playing these little mindless games, or not mindless, they can be really fun and they really suck us in. And then we play them and play them and play them and they keep us playing. And that's what they're designed to do because again, it's a business. It's not a business that is looking out for your well-being. So games, that's another one. Next time sucker. Mindless, tedious tasks, maybe email, maybe chores. Again, I'm not saying don't check your email. I'm not saying don't do chores, but temper them. Do some email, do some chores, and then also put in some strategies so that this is not where your time is getting sucked. With email, a super simple one, unsubscribe from stuff. If you are on a whole bunch of lists and they're not serving you anymore, unsubscribe. And with chores, instead of getting sucked into the, quote unquote, Pinterest perfect cleaning schedule, cleaning routine, way to clean your house and whatnot, could you maybe embrace good enough? Can you consider that? And maybe you can figure out a way to still clean and do what you need to take care of your house and take care of whatever, but do it in such a way that it doesn't become a time sucker. Another easy way, but again, this is just a matter of resources and level of comfort, is maybe you could hire a house cleaner to help with some stuff so that your time is not getting sucked into chores. Some other time suckers are time wasters that might not seem as obvious. Multitasking. Sometimes it almost seems like multitasking is a badge of honor and a competition in our culture. But hello. Brain science, I love brain science. Multitasking is actually not good for us, and it doesn't even work. You cannot think about two things at once. You can do two things at once, as long as one of the things is kind of an autopilot type thing, and then the other thing is requiring you to think. But you can't, for example, read a book and have a conversation. That doesn't work. And so, are you doing this? Are you multitasking? Don't glorify multitasking. Don't even pursue it. Sure, you can do the dishes and listen to an audiobook. That's all right. You can take the dog for a walk and listen to a podcast. You can clean the bathroom and check your email. No, probably not, because you can either be cleaning the bathroom or checking your email, but your eyes can only be in one place, and so can your brain. So unless you are toggling back and forth between voice dictating an email while you scrub the toilet, and then checking it, and then going back to the toilet, and then back to the email, but then really, this is why it's a time sucker, a time waster. That's not efficient, because your brain has to keep doing what's called task switching. Really, multitasking doesn't even really exist. All that multitasking is quickly task switching back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But if we're looking at time wasters and ways to be efficient and effective, doing that is not really the best path to take. Our brain and our results will do much better when we just do one thing, focus on it, get it done, and then switch to the next thing. Another time waster or time sucker, procrastination. I know this is a tricky one, and I'm not going to solve all of your procrastination issues today if that is something you struggle with. But I will tell you just to think about and be aware of when you're procrastinating on a particular task, what's your go-to? Probably another time waster or time sucker, right? You're probably procrastinating from doing that thing that you feel like would be important to get done, and you don't really feel like doing it, or whatever. And so what do? Do you start watching some YouTube videos? Do you start watching some Netflix? Do you start scrolling on social media? So nothing to solve this, but just things to bring our attention to, our awareness to, so we can be mindful and intentional. If you want some of my thoughts about procrastination and really how to finish what you start, I did a series on that. I will link it over in the cards now. But if procrastination is something that you struggle with, you might find some good strategies for yourself in that series, because procrastination is largely an issue with not being able to follow through or not being able to finish what we start. So go check that out if you'd like. Other time wasters could include things like online shopping or online browsing or online researching, that sort of thing, or even reading the news online and you just get sucked into that. There are so many things that could be time wasters, and really my next time waster for us here is just whatever it is for you. I have given a bunch of ideas here, but really only you can determine what is a time waster for you or not, if you're really honest about it. And there could be sneaky ones, or there could be ones that are unique to you and your situation. So just something to think about. And our first strategy here today to help us with creating the working mom lives that we are seeking to have. Now, what to do about these time wasters is beyond what we're going to cover today in this video. My purpose in having this be one of our strategies is just to call your attention to them so that you can really start to clue into exactly what kind of time suckers you have or don't have in your life, and just to start to be mindful, aware, and intentional, right? We're not going to sit here now and talk about how to solve the problem of too much scrolling on social media. If that is something that you want me to talk about at some point, or any of these particular time wasters or time suckers, please let me know in the comments below. I would be happy to do a video or even a series on these topics, but just let me know. Okay, we'll continue with our topic in just a moment, but before we get back to it, if you haven't already, would you please hit that subscribe button? As I like to say, you subscribing is kind of like the gasoline for my channel, keeps things running around here, so please help keep this puppy running and subscribe. All right, back to it. Let's move on to our next strategy for today, which is to outsource, delegate, and let go. And this is related to the video that I mentioned earlier in this series from my previous Working Mom series, where I talked about the truth behind how to do it all. But what we're talking about here today is outsourcing and delegating and letting go under the assumption that we already understand that doing it all is an impossibility. So we've probably heard lots of people say to outsource, to delegate, and to let things go off our plate. But this can be hard, right? Or we know that we quote unquote should do this, but then we don't. So what do we do about this? Of course, there's the obvious ones of hiring help, someone to cut your grass, someone to clean your house, someone to do your taxes. And then there's maybe the not so obvious ones of how to outsource, maybe where you're not paying for it. Maybe you're bartering and doing a trade with someone and you are giving them your skill or service in exchange for their skill or service. But getting creative with outsourcing, just get creative with outsourcing, because if this thing is really important to you, for example, hiring someone to cut your grass, well, what rearranging could you possibly do in your budget so that this is something that you can regularly afford, so that whatever this other thing is that is important to you in your life, having more time with your kids, having more time with your spouse or partner or what have you, how can you rearrange things so that you are actually creating a life that looks the way that you want it to look? So outsourcing, there are the obvious ones, and then maybe there are some ways that we can get creative when it comes to outsourcing. And delegating to our spouse or partner, maybe delegating to our own mother or mother-in-law, maybe if we have the support of family, and also delegating to our kids, even if they're little. My 4-year-old helps with laundry. Even my 2-year-old helps with laundry. Now, sometimes the helping is more of a moment of teaching, but then other times the helping is actually honestly helping. Especially in the case of my 4-year-old, she is able to truly and honestly be very helpful sometimes when it comes to getting things done around the house or tasks or chores that need to be completed. So delegating to spouses or partners or kids or family, or how about friends? Doing a babysitting swap. That's kind of a combination between delegating and outsourcing. But again, because this is commonly spoken about, I don't want it to just become, oh yeah, just another person telling me about how I need to quote unquote outsource and delegate. Like, let's look at it from a different angle of how we can be creative about it and actually make it work for our lives. Like when you hear someone talk about outsourcing or delegating, what roadblocks do you come up against? Again, something else that you can let me know in the comments below. Are you able to outsource and delegate effectively in your life? And if not, why not? And if it's a problem of money, then is there a way to get creative about it, that the money is not involved? Or is there a way to redo your budget so that the money, even a little bit can be there? Or if outsourcing and delegating is a matter of comfort and trust, what steps can be taken? For example, if it's a matter of a house cleaner and you say, well, I don't want someone in my house because I don't know that I can trust them. Well, can you ask around and find someone who has a trusted house cleaner and they can give you a referral? But yeah, let me know, what are the roadblocks that you come up against when you think about outsourcing and delegating? And again, just leave it in the comments below for me, and I'll take a look. And then, finally, the last part of this strategy is the letting go. What tasks or chores can we maybe just let go of? Maybe we feel like they're important, or something along the way, or someone along the way told us that we, quote unquote, should be doing this, but maybe we can actually let it go, and we don't need to be spending our time on it. Maybe it's not even tasks or chores, but just where is our time going into something that maybe we can just let go of, whether it's, like I said, a task or a project, or maybe it's an activity or something else, but just thinking about what is on our plate that we could literally just let go. And we are telling ourselves that it's important, but maybe it's not actually important. And maybe the reason that we feel it's important is because someone else has told us that, whether it's from our upbringing or from social media or Pinterest or whatever has convinced you that that thing is so important. And, maybe it's just not. Like, is it really important that you spend your time cleaning and, cleaning such and such a thing in your house? Like, who told you that? Whose voice are you hearing? Why are you cleaning that thing? Is that thing is not clean monster going to come and issue you a citation or something? And again, I'm making light of it, but it's tricky. It's a tricky thing. And also I think it's something we need to look at to evaluate, why am I doing this? And do I need to be doing it? Or do I need to be doing it to the extent that I am? And of course, what I'm thinking of most readily is tasks and chores and such, but there could be even some project that you're working on for fun, or, for home improvement, or for who knows, or some activity that you're involved in or your family is involved in, and just what can be let go of in the pursuit of having the work-life balance that we're seeking as working moms. And I don't have any hard and fast rules or answers for you here. I'm just pointing this out as something that I feel is valuable for us to take a look at on a somewhat regular basis, and especially when our lives just are not looking and feeling like how we want them to, but that we take a look at this so that we are moving in the direction of spending our time and cultivating that work-life balance in a way that feels amazing to us. So, those are the final 2 important and useful strategies that I have for us for how to be taking on life as a working mom, and as I've said before, doing it in a way that feels amazing, where we are not just surviving, but we are really, truly thriving. And remember, I told you that I'd tell you about my freebie, so now let's get to that part. So, Again, I made a set of 3 downloadable printables for you with encouraging quotes about being a working mom. For the first one, we have this one here with a lovely quote from former U.S. First Lady Michelle Obama that says, "For me, being a mother made me a better professional because coming home every night to my girls reminded me what I was working for, and being a professional made me a better mother because by pursuing my dreams, I was modeling for my girls how to pursue their dreams." For our second one, we have this great quote from comedian Tina Fey that says, "I think every working mom probably feels the same thing. You go through big chunks of time where you're just thinking, this is impossible. Oh, this is impossible. And then you just keep going and you sort of do the impossible." And finally, we have this sweet quote from author Jill Churchill that says, "There is no way to be a perfect mother, but a million ways to be a good one." So if you want to have these for yourself, go click the link in the description below. They're formatted in the 8x10 size, and you can print them at home or get them professionally printed or whatever you prefer. I hope that you like them and that they inspire and encourage you on your working mom journey. As always, thanks so much for spending this time with me. That wraps up our series here. Be on the lookout for my next series coming your way soon, and my parting encouragement for you, as always, if you are feeling overwhelmed today, remember that when it comes to planning and productivity, being intentional plus not giving up means that you are going to get there. Catch you next time. Take good care.